All right, let's go ahead and get started. Once again, my name is Keith Whalen, RPI Consultants, and you're attending this webinar on top 10 things to be excited about with Infor product development. Very exciting today. We have a special guest speaker, Todd Stratton, who is VP of Product Management for Infor and features prominently at the Winter Showcase. And with that, I give you Todd and Stout.
Thank you, Keith, and good to be with my partner Richard again this year.
Yeah, great to have you.
Very excited to be here, and we've got a lot of things to be excited about in 2019. My team at Infor really drives all the innovation that you see across financials, supply management, human capital management, and other products, and so we want to highlight for you some of the things to be excited about that are coming this year on the innovation front.
Yep, and we did a similar presentation last year, and it's exciting to see all the progress that's been made. So many announcements that you had about what was coming have now been released. That software is out, and we're seeing customers find success with it. So this is great to get a refresh and take a look at what's coming out in 2019 and beyond.
Absolutely, and that's what customers want, is when they partner with RPI and Infor, they want to have a company that invests in the software, keeps it current, and provides more value over time. So that's what we'll hit on. As I get into the deck here, one thing just to note is that I will be talking about some product futures and roadmap items that are not currently in place, that are being developed as we speak, and some of those things are subject to change. So that's the disclaimer that we always state at the beginning. So kind of in the David Letterman kind of format, right? The top 10 things to be excited about in 2019. Some of these things, by definition, since we've already started 2019, have been launched. Others will be launched by the end of the year, but they're things that customers can plan on and plan their roadmaps around and focus on and learn more about. So number 10 on the list is a lot of innovation that we're driving in our expense management solution. What I've done here on these slides too is I've put the names of my team members who really own these products 24/7, 365. So if you run into them at a user group or want to drop them a line and get more information, you're able to do that. But Rose Alsop of my team has done quite a bit around expense management. We recently launched an online booking tool known as Deem that's fully integrated with our expense management solution. So everything that's done in the booking process transfers over to the expense management process. That went general availability late last year, and customers have been picking that up as we speak. Infor even uses it today. So to book my trip here, I use that integrated booking tool, and it worked great. The other thing that we've done is we've always had a mobile application for expense management. So we use expense management at Infor. I approve expense reports, submit expense reports through the mobile app. But we've really taken that to another level by having a native mobile app built that can take advantage of all the inherent capabilities for iOS and Android. We released the iOS version very recently. The Android version is coming, but we're getting a lot of good feedback on that from customers.
Great. This is, with all the enhancements to the payables module in CloudSuite Financials, this is a natural extension to have all this great innovation and capability around expense management, collecting, approving, and automating the reimbursement of expenses.
Yeah. No, and then extending it here even with the OCR capabilities. So customers have told us, hey, it'd be great if we could scan our receipts and have those receipts auto-populate an expense report. And you think of the time savings and the usability improvements and things like that. OCR capability is coming to customers in expense management next month. And then finally, burst operational reporting. So this is an extension of what we've already done with CloudSuite Financials and CloudSuite HCM. We've kind of taken best-in-breed burst operational reporting and baked it into those solutions. We're doing the same for XM to give users and managers and the accounting staff more insight and more capability on reporting and analytics within XM.
Yeah, this is going to be a theme, I think, throughout the rest of the presentation, is the foundation that Infor has now for these applications means there's so much you can bring to bear, and there's no point solution that's going to have that breadth of foundational tools such as the burst available.
It's interesting because whether it's burst with expense management or burst with CloudSuite Financials or V10 or CloudSuite HCM, historically, analytics within an ERP environment has kind of been just okay, right? But Burst and the acquisition of Burst by Infor about a year and a half ago, they've always been best in breed for analytics. They've been in everyone's top right-hand quadrant for enterprise reporting and data analytics, and we're glad to have that really as a table stake within all these products. So if I go to number 9 is a very interesting new capability. It's already integrated into V10, but what's coming actually this month is embedding inventory intelligence capability within CloudSuite Financials version 11. It's interesting how this started out. This is a true innovation story. This used to be a consulting service that we provided through our team in Cambridge, Massachusetts, a bunch of data scientists and really smart people that know math really well. But we evolved it from a consulting service to an actual capability within both V10 and V11, where we have some very sophisticated algorithms that can proactively recommend inventory optimization levels to customers. It provides those recommendations in the software. Customers can take action on those recommendations live and really improve their situation as far as inventory management.
This is so great that Infor just made this a part of the software, because every single attendee who's watching us now that uses the inventory module can take advantage of this. Who wouldn't want to save money by reducing stock on hand to only the items that are needed, while having the confidence that they know the application will recommend what's needed to prevent stockouts?
Absolutely. So the number 8 thing to be excited about in 2019 is all the innovations that we're doing in the area of talent acquisition and management. We're finishing up some of the work that we already started on the recruiter side of the application. We've done an awful lot there to improve usability, efficiency, workflows, alerts. We're extending that to the candidate area. And what customers will be seeing is, anybody that's ever recruited somebody knows it's a very clumsy process today. Is an interview schedule between a candidate, a hiring manager, and a manager. I don't know about you, Stout, but man, the emails, the texts, the changes, trying to keep track of all that, it's a nightmare. So we're building that capability to really streamline that scheduling between those parties into the software, and customers are going to get a lot of value out of that. The second thing that we're doing in talent is on the right-hand side, this whole notion of continuous performance management. Industry is really evolving from the traditional, let's do, if I report to Stout and I'm on Stout's team, he schedules a review with me at the end of the year, and we get out a white sheet of paper and say, what did Todd accomplish? What coaching did he get during the year? And how did he do against his objectives? What the industry is really moving to is more frequent, lightweight check-ins with employees, kind of real-time, continuous performance management and feedback. And so what we've done is we've built a module around that within talent acquisition and management. And we use this today at Infor, we're kind of an early adopter, beta customer of this before it's fully generally available. But when I have check-ins with my team members, we actually bring continuous performance management up on the screen, and it kind of prompts us through those very things, recent accomplishments, recent challenges, coaching, key tasks, but it's a very lightweight way to keep in sync with your team members and have that flow, all that data flows to the performance review, the formal review at the end of the year, so you don't have to think with a clean sheet of paper.
Yeah, this is great. Whatever your organization style is, whether it's yearly performance appraisals, continuous monitoring, or some combination thereof, the software is now available, so you can have a more informal way of checking in with your employees, yet still maintain compliance and sort of that breadcrumb trail of what's going on.
Exactly. Okay, so the number 7 thing to be excited about in 2019 is everything that we're doing and offering to customers in the area of workforce management. Covers a lot of different areas. In the staffing center area for healthcare, we're rolling out centralized nurse scheduling. We're rolling out float pool management. So an example of that in healthcare is there's a lot of health systems that have groups of employees that are assigned to be in a float pool on a daily basis. And so say that's 30 people that are in the float pool. based on the needs of the health system that day, those people are assigned to different areas. It could be area A one day, it could be area B the next, or area C the next. And what customers have told us is if that they have a tool to effectively manage that float pool better than they have today, they'll get a lot of value in that and be able to deploy resources where they need to go quicker. So that's coming. The other thing that we're doing is in the area of labor forecasting. So our Coleman artificial intelligence capability has some very cool algorithms that can help customers forecast labor needs over time by department, by area. And then finally, employee shift billboard. Today we have the capability for a manager, if I'm Stout's manager and he can't make it in next Wednesday, I can post his shift to employees to put in for that shift and cover that shift. What we're evolving that to, though, is that one of Stout's peers, fellow employees, can now see Stout posting for that open shift. So Stout can, if he wants to go to a concert Friday night, he can post his shift for Friday night. Fellow employees can put in for that and fill that shift. So putting more horsepower in the hands of the users and the employees, as opposed to having everything revolve around the manager.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's a big leap forward. I mean, just taking that burden off of management's hands and letting employees trade shifts amongst themselves, and yet having an application that verifies, all the rules are in place.
It's also an empowerment thing, right? You're trusting the employees on a low-risk activity like filling their shift to do that, and there's certain workflow and approvals in the system behind that. So it's very nice. And if you need to know more about that, talk to Carrie Bradfield on my team. She'd be happy to chat with you. The number 6 thing to be excited about in 2019 is Infor's continued push to add last mile functionality for industry to our solutions. So we're very, very proud of that at Infor, and it's one of our key strategies and core competencies is that we don't just have a big box software that we tell a hospital, hey, you use it the same way as a state government, and you use it the same way as a retailer, and you use it the same way as a financial services company. We continually add, and you see some examples here on the screen, last mile functionality to the product that's specific to certain industries, and you can see examples of that here. Some of this, like item lifecycle management, is already out. That really helps, especially in healthcare when new items are coming into inventory, having those reviewed, feedback provided on them, very significant there. Inventory intelligence we talked about that has applicability in a few different industries. UDI for healthcare and the ability to support that from the financial applications. So we're continuing to invest in this and really make the software unique and tailored to our customers' industries.
Yeah, it's a real differentiator for Infor CloudSuite, and it builds upon years and years of experience being out there in these industries, working side by side with customers.
Okay, so the number 5 thing to be excited about in 2019, this is something that we talked about at Winter Showcase. It's testing as a service. So the reality is, Stout and I are talking about all this innovation and new products, and that's a good thing for customers. The reality is that we have some products where we don't have thousands of customers banging on them yet. But what we've done here, and Robert Fratesi has really kind of conceived this at Infor and made this available, is we can provide our test scripts to customers as a seed. And then customers can take those and tweak those or come up with test scripts of their own and feed those test scripts back to Infor to include in our testing. So we're actually broadening our testing capability, not just to the core scenarios we see across the customer universe, but also incorporating some things that customers may have that are unique on their end. So really providing a great value add. We've already got 5 customers that are part of the program. They've provided us with 100 scripts that we've integrated into our testing protocol. So it's really, really cool stuff, and customers are excited about it.
Yes, this is a really creative way to engage the client base. With multi-tenant, the whole paradigm, the testing changes, and this is great that clients can feel confidence that their specific application use cases were tested against the application update.
And then the number 4 It just keeps getting better. The number 4 thing to be excited about in 2019 is everything we're doing around mobility. And I'm going to hit each of these phases quickly, but customers are going to see a rush of innovation around optimized web apps for selected roles in CloudSuite Financials and Human Capital Management. They're then going to see a full web app via a URL for all applications, and then that'll evolve to, by September launch, what we call Infor Go, which is a native mobile app for iOS and Android for all Infor applications in one place. And we'll hit on those kind of quickly. So what do I mean by optimized web apps for selected, on the HCM side, selected HCM roles? You can see here for the employee, the leader, and the manager role, a lot of capabilities that are available today from your phone via a URL link. And these tasks and capabilities and features are optimized for that phone experience. The ones with the checks are already out today. The ones that aren't checked are coming out in the near future. So that's something that whether you're an employee, a leader, or manager, you can take advantage of today and really improve your productivity and the things that you do within your particular role.
Yeah, these are baked right into CloudSuite, and there's nothing you need to install on the phone. You just go access, log in, and it's a nice view that's a little bit more touch navigation friendly, a little bit more friendly for the screen size of a mobile device.
And then same thing on the CSF side. So for CloudSuite Financials, you can see here a number of different roles. We already have some of the optimized web apps for the buyer role, the inventory manager role. Others are coming for assets and project accounting roles. But a whole lot of capability there for customers. And then you can see it's continuing with other roles on the right-hand side through August. So this too will have that ability with a URL link, fully optimized mobile capability for certain roles available to customers. And then finally, that's being extended to Infor Go. So this is something that we've been working on kind of behind the curtain, if you will. But you can see in the second screenshot here, whether it's CloudSuite Financials, Global HR, all of your Infor applications in one place. And once again, when I say native, it means it can take advantage of the inherent capabilities that come with iOS and Android. So customers could access the app both ways, via that URL link and get the optimized apps, or within the native mobile app known as Infor Go.
Yeah, I love that Infor is really embracing the more modern way of working with applications, with all different ways that people might want to get in on their phone. I also just want to mention that this is a great advantage for clients on the multi-tenant infrastructure, because anybody out there who has tried to take an on-premise application and expose it over a mobile network, they know how difficult that is from a network configuration standpoint. And there's really no infrastructure set up whatsoever for any of this stuff to work. If you're on CloudSuite multi-tenant, this stuff is already set up, so you're ready to roll.
Great point. Great point. So then as we keep going, the number 3 thing to be excited about in 2019 is next generation payroll, also known as V11 payroll. As we've made this move to the V11 products, and we led with Human Capital Management and then CloudSuite Financials and Supply Management a couple of years ago, a lot of customers have said, hey, what about payroll? And I'm not comfortable moving to CSF V11 until I get line of sight on payroll. Well, that line of sight now exists. We've been in the lead adopter, early adopter phase. You can see the red and white logo there. Infor is actually an early adopter of V11 payroll. So we have several releases coming between now and the end of the year, one in July, one in September, which is when the Infor deployment will be taking place. And then in December will be the broad general availability for all customers. So sure enough, Charles Phillips, our CEO, he will be getting paid with the new V11 payroll come September, and we're very excited about that. Elsinore Valley Water District is also an early adopter for the product, and they're helping us quite a bit as far as features and capabilities and feedback on usability.
Yeah, this is great. This really completes the solution 100%. And there is really this takes away that excuse of like, well, I don't want to look at moving to CloudSuite until it's all there. Well, it is all there, and at this point with, a typical phased implementation of the full CloudSuite solution, payroll will have been live for plenty of time before a client who's just planning today is ready to move on with.
It's a very good point. We have a lot of customers, obviously, at any given point in time that are looking at really deploying the suite, right? So deploying financials and supply management, HCM, and payroll. And as that's staged, and you go from discovery to planning to implementation, and then you stage the different pieces, you're right. By the time a customer
this
today
timeline lines up.
Right, this timeline lines up with anyone that's digging into the discovery today. And then global payroll. So global payroll is through a partnership we have with ADP. We announced that very recently. Koch Industries, who's not only a part owner of Infor, not only a board member, but also a very big customer, they're assisting us with that as far as deploying global payroll outside the US, and more to come on that. So the number two thing to be excited about in 2019 is everything we're doing around continuous accounting. We liken continuous accounting to an analogy of, if you've ever been a student in high school or in college, right? You have a couple choices. You can wait till your final exams and cram for the final at the end of the period, or you can keep pace throughout the period and do your homework and keep current and not wait and cram to the end for the final. We see continuous accounting as the same way. How do we leverage technology to automate things that will enable us to keep current during the period and not cram to that end-of-month process so much? And with our Coleman artificial intelligence capability, we're doing that. We can significantly automate and accelerate and advance the things people do during the period to manage their financials. We're just now starting to launch this. We're having some internal launches and external launches starting in June. But customers need to take a look at this and really see how this can help you do what you do in a more accelerated and automated fashion in the future.
Yeah, across all the business areas, we're moving more towards an exception processing model, moving away from batch assembly line and more towards pipeline style processing. So this is a great addition to the finance suite.
The other thing that this helps is with adoption and learning and training, right? When you're automating the software to figure out, is my cash reconciled, or determining your cash position, a new entrant to the workforce would have to learn that screen navigation, would have to take some training. It's maybe not quite this simple, but being able to ask the software to provide you those answers, and you're eliminating clicking through 3 screens and 4 different clicks for the user, it really accelerates that learning curve for people in finance and accounting.
Yeah, it just means you can spend more brain power focusing on making decisions and less brain power on figuring out how to navigate to a screen you might not have gone to in a month or two.
Exactly. And then the number one thing to be excited about in 2019 is planning your CloudSuite Financials version 11 upgrade. It seems like the product was launched forever ago. The reality is that it was just 30 months ago, about 2.5 years, when we had the full launch of the V11 product in September of 2016. And since then, we've hit a lot of milestones, and these milestones should really give customers comfort with where the solution is today. It's been fully GA for over 2 years. We have customers in every single vertical in services industries, so across healthcare, public sector, retail, financial services, and other services industries. You'll be hard-pressed out of the 106 customers we have today for this product to find one that's not in your vertical. Was talking to Stout earlier about this. There's it says 650 new features in V11 that have never been in V9 or V10. That's really about 1,000. We stopped counting at 650. So some customers like to ask, what's your roadmap? If you're on V9 or V10 Lawson today, your roadmap with a flip of the switch is getting caught up with the 650 new features that are in V11.
Yeah.
There's another 3-year roadmap that goes beyond that we're working on today. This hasn't been updated, but we're now at 16 references for the product, so we have 16 customers that are speaking on behalf of the product, talking to other customers about it, going to user groups and talking about it. They'll be talking about it in forum, which Bill Getty and I are going to be talking about Infor participation in a minute. So that's another milestone. I remember back in 2016 where brand new product didn't have any references.
Yeah.
And so that's another milestone. The other big milestone, and this is something that I think everybody on the call should share with their C-suite and their decision makers, is that very large organizations are moving forward with this solution. So whether you're talking about a Christus Health, City of St. Paul, Hospital Corporation of America, HCA, these companies and entities really, when you think about it, they don't go forward with a new product lightly. They look at every nook and cranny, they look at every capability, and quite frankly, they look at that capability relative to others in the market. And whether it's a Christus who unplugged Oracle and said no to Workday and picked this solution, or others, they're doing a lot of the due diligence for the entities and the people on the call. Mm-hmm. And so take comfort in that. It's not a new product. There's a lot of vetting that's gone into it. And then, as we've mentioned, V11 Payroll is coming in December. So for some customers, they wanted to wait on that, and we respect that. But all of these things are things that you can build into your business case for making the move to CSF V11.
Yeah, absolutely. These large organizations that are moving to CloudSuite, specifically CloudSuite Financial and Supply Management, they're proving that this application works, and it works at scale in the real world. And I mean, from my perspective, I think everybody needs to have a plan for moving forward at this point. If you don't have some kind of a plan, you're probably behind the curve.
And that's the key. I mean, a plan may be, and we see this from time to time, right? Customers have a lot of enterprise initiatives
you don't need
and priorities.
to start a project next month, but you need to know when you're going to start a project.
Right. So having a plan could be, hey, we're not really going to look at an implementation until 2020, but what leads up to that? What discovery, what thinking and planning around, do I take advantage of the new GL capabilities, make my GL more robust than it is today, or do I not? Or do I go initially as is with my GL and then improve it over time? So there's a lot of choices and levers and considerations as you go forward with that somebody like RPI can help with, quite frankly.
Yep, and Keith and I have a presentation on that coming up.
Great. So just some more data points. We like to report on these from time to time, but as I mentioned, 106 customers today are signed up for CloudSuite Financials and Supply Management. 90% of those are in the cloud, which is interesting. So the ERP space was kind of the last bastion of deployment to the cloud, and it's been a little conservative. Had to get your arms around that and be comfortable with that, but we're able to do that. The RPI team is able to do that, talking about things like security and tenants and protocol in the cloud, and how data is not shared across customers, and partitioning and things like that. But 90% of the customers are selecting the cloud deployment. We also offer the on-prem deployment. We respect the fact, unlike some of the others in the market, that some customers may want to continue on an on-prem deployment, and if they like that, it's really one product that can be deployed two ways. We've got 53 current implementations going on now. We've got 29 customers that are live. The balance of around 20 customers are ones that haven't started their implementation yet, signed up. A lot of the people on the call are existing and longtime Lawson customers. 54 of the 106 are Lawson customers, former Lawson customers on 9 or 10. Just a data point, 52 of the 106 are net new customers that were not customers of Infor 2.5 years ago. They've selected CloudSuite Financials. They've literally unplugged Oracle, unplugged Workday, unplugged SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, Tyler on the public sector side, and others, and selected this product, so we welcome them as well. I mentioned the references, several upgrade projects both in flight and live that came from the Lawson base. And then something else we've done over the last couple of years is launch the product in 22 countries around the world. So that was always part of our strategy, was reinvent the great Lawson product for the next 25 years, not just in its core markets in North America, but also outside the US, because we have a lot of customers with a multinational presence that, quite frankly, they're on some legacy ERP solutions, and this would be the perfect upgrade path for them. So if I go on here, just to look at how the customers today, the 106, break down by industry. As you see, a large presence in healthcare. About 50% are in healthcare, another 50% are from other services industries, which is about the mix we expected. You know, when you look at the customer base that we had 3 years ago, very heavy presence in healthcare, but also in other services industries verticals. And what we wanted was, this was not going to be a solution for just one vertical. We wanted to have kind of the rainbow effect here with different verticals that all saw appeal in this new product, not because of just the base functionality and what the cloud can bring, but also with the last mile functionality for their industry that I talked about. This is just a look. I'm starting to show this slide because people say, hey, you mentioned 650 new features, now 1,000. But this is really just gives you a view across for CloudSuite Financials V11 and supply management. How does that break down across those different pillars of the product? And literally, this is growing every single day. We don't just launch a product 2 years ago and then stop innovating. I can show you a roadmap with probably half as many of these features added on top of this. So we're continuing to do that, continuing to innovate, and we'd be happy to talk to you about that, and so would the RPI team.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing so many of our clients who are currently running loss in 10 today. We're doing assessments, we're helping them get more out of the application, or we're just generally fielding their requests about, hey, can we do some enhancements to employee self-service, or can we put this request and approval process in place? And so many times now, my answer is sort of, yeah, we can build that out for you. We can work with you to put together a small project to get that enhancement on. But I have to let you know that when you move to version 11, you're just going to get that out of the box.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. It's the case most of the time there for sure. So, and then this, I just thought I'd throw this in here. I mentioned the 16 references, but this was a really cool article that recently came out in a infrastructure magazine periodical that talked about a company that not only invested in core technology to run their business, but saw themselves modernizing what they do by moving to the CloudSuite Financials and Supply Management version 11 product. And so we're getting a lot of press on this. There's a lot of examples of this and customers talking about it in general with other customers. So my charge to everybody on the phone, and I know Stout would agree with this, is, I kind of boiled down to what can you do? There's a lot of capability here that you can take advantage of and you can orient your organization to. But it kind of starts with you. Engage your organization, put it on Infor, put it on RPI to come in and talk to you about some of these new capabilities and the value they can bring. Request a demo. You can see a demo of, there's some things that I talked about that aren't quite at demo stage yet because they're in development, but a lot of them are, and we can show you those things. And then really the one thing we've noticed with the 106 customers that are deploying CloudSuite Financials and Supply Management V11 is that there's always somebody that really leads that deployment internally. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, RPI plays a role in that, Infor plays a role in that, but then again, within that customer's organization, there's usually somebody that's the most passionate around, I want to get from here to here.
I know who it is.
And I'm going to lead that, and I'm going to make that happen, whether it's reaching out to the Infor folks, reaching out to the RPI folks, and reaching out internally.
Yeah. It's you. You're excited about version 11. You joined this webinar to hear everything.
That's right.
Everything that's exciting to us, everything that's coming out over the next year. Be the champion of change in your organization. Let us help you. Everybody here wants to help you and empower you to get more people on board within your organization and moving towards CloudSuite.
Yeah. So that wraps up the formal presentation. Do we have any questions that we would like to field?
We do have a couple. So throughout the during your presentation, you mentioned that not only are these products available in the cloud, they're available on-prem. Would you characterize the top 10 things? Are all the top 10 things available on-prem and in the cloud?
You know, for the most part, when I talk about core applications, so core application for CloudSuite Financials and Supply Management V11, if there's a core application feature in there, it's available no matter what the deployment is. There may be some nuances on the technology side where maybe some of the technology wraparound items aren't available on-prem, but those are really on an exception basis. Generally speaking, when in doubt, it's one solution that can be deployed either in the cloud or on-prem.
Yeah, so I guess like on-prem clients get to take advantage of everything that we're talking about here. But obviously the artificial intelligence pieces
Right.
are still running on AWS. Like
Right.
you're leveraging a lot of AWS capability here. You can't like install Alexa, I guess.
Right.
So even though you get to take advantage, behind the scenes, your on-prem application is still leveraging some cloud technology.
Right.
So another question we have, and we get this with every presentation we do about new products, is there an estimated date when S3 V10 goes away? When's that expected? Or is that even on the horizon yet?
Yeah, so we get that question from time to time as well. So let me just hit on a couple data points. So V10, Lawson has been out since 2010. So by my math, it's 9 years old, which is a pretty good run for a version of a product. The bottom line is we don't have any plans to retire it at this time. We have no plans to sunset at this time. That time will come as it comes with all software. The reality is that while we do have a very large base of customers on that product, we have a large number of customers that just deployed the product over the last 3 years. And so I think it gets back to what Stout mentioned was really brilliant guidance is whether you deployed V10 last year or 8 years ago, you should have a plan and a roadmap for moving to the current vintage of the product. And that's the best thing you can do for your organization is to really be the champion of that plan. Like I said, we don't have any plan or schedule to retire V10 at this time, but at some point in time we may. And so, and once again, that shouldn't be scary to anybody. That's just the nature of the beast in software. It happened with V9, happened with V8, happened with V7. But at this time, there's no plans for that.
I would say if you're currently running Lawson 10 on-prem, what you need to look at is some of the other dependencies like operating system, database, other infrastructure type dependencies. When is Windows Server 2012 R2 going to be out of support? And project what is going to be the effort to swap out those sort of underlying components and maybe help that inform your timeline for making the move.
Right.
We did have one additional question.
Yeah.
And we have some more, but we just really don't have enough time. We'll deal with those. Is single tenant cloud going to continue to be available?
Yeah, so good question. This is where we are on single tenant cloud. Single tenant cloud has some drawbacks associated with it. It's much like on-prem, the reality is it's not a product or a feature thing. It's just there are more challenges for customers in keeping current because there's a lot of manual steps, manual downloads, manual updates. It's very, very different from a multi-tenant world where those updates are pushed out and customers are essentially kept current. And so we no longer, for CloudSuite Financials and Supply Management version 11, we no longer offer a single tenant option for that very reason. We did early on, but I think it's been a year and a half now where it's either multi-tenant cloud or it's on-prem. We don't really do single tenant anymore. And that's really focused on the customer. The customers have said it's just too much work, too hard to keep current. We like the model of the multi-tenant deployment, or some say on-prem deployment. So we're really moving away from that, and in our as a cloud company, and for a good year and a half now, every single customer that's elected to go to the cloud is deploying a multi-tenant version of that.